Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Sorry it's been so long. It's been a race against time to get the house finished so we can move in, which we now have. So we're gonna jump straight into the second part of fitting the roof trusses. So we've got the scaffold around. Andy fit a beam for us that runs from the front of the house through the top of the trusses and to the back of the house. So all the trusses are supported upright, which means that we're able to slide the trusses along the wall plates and know that the trusses can't tip and fall down and smash to pieces on that first floor. With me one side and George on the other side of the house, we was able to move each truss slowly but surely into position and then fix blocks either side of them to stop them from moving over. The pole also helped because we was actually able to tip the truss so it's leaning forward, so it kind of guided itself at the same time as we were moving it, and it worked relatively well. You can see the pole started to bend a little bit, but it stayed sturdy and we were able to move them along to their positions. Obviously the problem we've now got is we need to be able to get rid of that pole, slide it out so we can build a part of the trusses and the roof in the middle. So the next stage is to get a temporary floor fitted in there. So I'm going to double up some OSB and screw it into the trusses just so I can't fall through the floor. And then once we've got a decent platform to be able to safely stand off, I can start to set the spaces evenly as per the drawing, and also fit the correct bracing diagonally and across the top as per the drawings. Once that side's done, that will mean that both positions, both ends are set properly, and we can then work on building the part of the roof in the middle. As you can see, we've got a 3-ply truss either side of that opening, and this is where the stairs are going to go. So we've now got basically half trusses that we need to slide into each position. So as you can see now, the middle part of the floor and the roof is now set and built. So you can see the double trimmers either side of where the stairs are going to go, and then you can see where I've put all the hangers on, put in the noggins and put in the extra floor joists in. So it consists of basically 2 halves that have to be fitted in line, and then at the end of those truss ends you secure the 2 stringers next to each other for either side of the stairs. I've had to build the middle part of the floor first before I can start to space everything and brace it properly, because the middle section of the roof has got a large beam that sits at the top to support the mono trusses. Obviously I can't get up to that without the mono trusses being fitted in place because I need a floor space. So I had to get the mono trusses fitted first, so I've got a decent floor space so that I can then secure some OSB to, so I can then set my ladders up and then access the top of the trusses. Without that, it'd be impossible to get up there to fit the beam and then fit any extra bracing and fit the nails and the extra clips. So you can see there's a 2-ply purlin wall either side. That's for the trusses to sit on. They fix into the 3-ply trusses either side and then can allow the trusses to sit on that. So they're actually supporting the mono trusses of the roof. So that basically gives us the floor. And as you can see there, we've got the stair opening directly above the downstairs stair opening. So that took a bit of working out to work out exactly the position above the downstairs opening to get it in the right place on the top. I've then put every clip in place as per the drawings, and you can see I've just routed them flush with the top of the joists so the floorboards can glue straight down without being raised, and they'll fit nice and tight and neatly. This is where it now starts to get a little bit more difficult because the drawing was incorrect and it showed a ridge beam cut into sections sandwiched in between each mono truss. However, that's incorrect. What we need up in this section up here is a ridge beam that runs right the way through that section and sits above those cross braces. So now the floor's down, I can use my ladder to get to the top, take the top supports off that are holding each mono truss together, and then I can look to slide the ridge beam through the top so it fixes and supports the top of the trusses. Once the beam is up in position, I can then jack each truss up to close the gap up that's down on the bottom of the mono truss. Obviously at the moment there's nothing supporting the top of them, so they're pushing out on the wall plate. I need to push them back in so they're all nice and flush. because at the moment, as you can see, I've got my plumb line that runs across the back of the trusses. So I've got a datum edge to go up to, and you can see on the mono trusses in the middle, they're about 1 inch over from the string. So they basically need to be pushed inwards and then fixed up into the ridge beam. So although it looks okay to the eye at the moment, we're about 1 inch out. So I need to come up and then fix into that ridge beam, which is why it's essential that I had the flooring first so I can get up to it safely. Once the ridge beam's in, I can start to set the spacers properly for each truss, and I can start to put the rest of the bracing on as per the drawing, and then get it membraned, and then we're effectively waterproof at that point. Now that we're braced, fully plumb, and the roof can't go anywhere, it's time to fit the roof ladders in place. These will fix into the end truss on both ends of the house, and then this allows us to be able to have a surface to put our soffits onto, and the gable walls will also be built under this and fixed into place. So you leave 1 inch or so gap between the front wall and the truss, the last truss, and then this will be bridged together with restraint straps to hold the gable to the truss. So you can see here, the ladders are already made, they came with the trusses, it's already cut to the right length, and I need to just get them into position, get them touching at the top at the right angle, and then they can be screwed and nailed in place into the front truss. And there it is, 1.5 weeks of perseverance and a lot of hard graft, and the roof is built, completely built as per the drawings, spec'd by Pascal Trusses. I'm not going to lie, when they first arrived on the back of the lorry, I did think I'd taken on too much, especially doing it without a crane, but this proves that it is in fact possible with the right game plan, safety and planning to get these roof trusses up in place without a crane, which is what me and George did. So everything now is fitted as per the nailing patterns, braced in place, it's all plumb, the centres are all set, I've got extra bracing in places, and the roof ladders are all on. The ridge beams in place, supporting everything up, and we're now ready to start building the gable walls on the front and the back. The tolerance for these trusses were actually 50mm plumb in the end, although mine are a lot more accurate than that. It was nice to know that it didn't have to be absolutely perfect, because obviously these will twist and expand a little bit individually, so it's as good as it can be without being perfect. Obviously it's important to make sure that it is set as accurate as possible, because I've got to put the membrane on this, and then I've got to batten it to be able to tile it. So you want them all in the right sort of place, and obviously for the ends, for the soffits to fit properly, you want your trusses ending all in the right place as per my plumb line. So now the roof's all set, it's time to work out and build the front gable with the window in the front, as you can see here, and then fit the breather membrane just so we've got a little bit of shelter when it decides to rain.
Hey everyone, so the roof is covered. It's not very often I lose my patience, but trying to get that ridge sheet up over the top, it was like a parachute, and it was super windy, as you can hear, like it is today, and well, I nearly got blown off the roof with it. It was flapping all over the shop. How it actually survived I don't know, but with a bit of patience, sitting up there waiting for the wind to blow in the right direction, I did manage to do it by securing it with battens. I did staple it to start with and it just blew straight off, so now I had to go hardcore with the staple, with the battens, but I got there in the end. So anyway, the roof's all now pretty much covered, as you can go, there's the roof, and that's on both sides. Just got to seal the joints up with some tape like I've done on the top. Now I'm trying to build the gable wall. This isn't as easy as the normal walls. It takes a lot more calculation. So I've put an 8x2 on the wall plate on the bottom, just so I've got a little bit extra for finishing the plasterboard underneath too. So you've still got a clearance there between the trusses, or there will be once I've put the noggins in, but you have a little clearance like that, but it's going to be a bit more of a bigger plate for the plasterboard. So that's my sole plate, and what I've got to do now is I'll put this in place, which is 900mm high, which represents the part of the window, the bottom part of the window. So that'll be the sill basically. So I've got that, and now I'm trying to frame the wall part first, and then I'll do all the studs coming down at an angle. So I've cut a stud up there to the right angle already. It's not in the right place, but it's screwed up against the gable ladder, just so I know what sort of height I've got to cut my studs to. So I'm going to start by framing the actual window part first. So I've set my laser level up, which will show exactly on the top corresponding where the stud will be. So there. So I can now measure down from there to get my stud that goes to the side of the window. I can then do the same for that side, and I can fill in all the middle bit to build the window. Then I've just got to cut the studs down to the right angle. So it's not as simple as building the walls, but I'm getting there, and I think this is the best way to do it using this laser level. So we'll see how we get on.
So the gable wall's now built. You can see all the studs there, either side of the big opening in the middle of the window. Noggins at the top are done. Just got some noggins to do down the bottom here. So once I've done the noggins, I can put the OSB on and then get the membrane on. I'm going to insulate the top there above the window first from the front, because obviously the truss is behind it, so it won't be possible to do it from the inside. So I'm going to insulate that first, and then I can put the OSB on there. I can then put the breather membrane on the whole thing, and then it's a bit more watertight and a bit more of a windbreaker then. Here you can see we're almost finished with the entire room structure now in the roof. So I've got the gable wall at the back built. It's all OSB'd and the noggins are on. This will eventually be a bathroom probably. So there won't be a window there, there'll be a shower at the back, but there'll be Veluxes in the roof eventually, but for now it'll just be a room. You can see there I've insulated the top there, did that on the front before I OSB'd it as per the front gable. So that's nice and snug in there, it's all clad on the outside, so I know that bit's done now. The front gable is insulated and it's clad in OSB. Just got to cut around the window and then I can get the breather membrane on. So we're so close to being finished now, we're almost there. If I just come outside here you'll be able to see it. So we're OSB'd. The render board's arrived, so once I've put the breather membrane on I can put the batten on and then I can start fixing the render board to it. So you can see that's the gable, nice decent size. So we're effectively watertight now. Once I get a bit of sheeting just to cover that window, we're basically there. So it's all insulated as well there, as you can see. Taped up all the joints just to neaten it up a little bit. So we are right at the end of having this room done.